Well, hello, everybody, and happy Friday. Where's my kids cheering? There we go. Yay. Woo! It is time for Boss Rush once again, and happy to be here in the studio. My name's Chris Melasinos. I'm the principal evangelist for video games here at AWS. And with me, we have...
Good morning. It's Dean Takahashi, editorial director.
Oh, hang on one second there. We are getting we're getting some feedback here, so let me go ahead and shut that off. This is what happens when I'm out, you know, for speaking, and I come back and Windows decided to update and be helpful and rearrange all my shit. So, all right, once again, we have with us here in the upper corner.
Dean Takahashi, editorial director at GamesBeat. Hello.
Come on, hello, and with us as well, in her slightly darkened room.
A rare appearance lately. Susan Cummings. I'm the CEO of 10-6 Games based out of the UK.
Ooh, yay! We're so happy to see you. And I had a chance to actually see Susan face to face IRL this week, which was just lovely. Not enough time, but, you know, never enough time. So anyway.
And I got to watch a wonderful speech by Chris.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you. They were,
he was amazing. It's not just that he was good. He was pro.
Listen to that. Okay, now it's got my blush filter on. My goodness gracious. Oh man. Yeah. So how are you feeling? I know that we were away I was away for RovioCon, which is right up ahead of SLUSH there. Susan, how you holding up there?
I'm a bit tired. It's only a 2-hour time difference for me, so I don't really have much of an excuse. But I was in meetings like back to back, like 9 a.m. into the wee hours, and it really hurts. I'm getting too old for it. I flew back yesterday and by Amsterdam, and it was like the middle of the day. I actually fell asleep for 15 minutes on the plane. I was so tired, and I never sleep on airplanes.
Wow.
And yeah, and so I've been pretty knocked out. I got a good night's sleep last night, but I'm still feeling pretty groggy head thing.
Yeah. Oh, but that just means we're going to get nothing but hot takes today.
Yeah, it snowed. Yeah. It was really nice to see some snow. I don't get to see snow very often, so that was cool.
Yeah, nice. We got a lot of live news happening today too. Yeah,
we sure do. But before we jump into game industry news, you know, stuff that's okay, there we go. That's the level of professionalism that Susan was talking about in my talk.
Obviously, you're doing a great job of convincing them.
My goodness, my brain. I do want to start real quickly today with probably the most important piece of news that we have. We lost another, absolute, pioneer and pillar within our industry. Rebecca Heinemann passed away after a fight with cancer and after losing her partner, Janelle, last year. So it was, I had the chance to get to know Rebecca probably really over the past decade plus, and to know her work and just the number of games she was involved in, the number of franchises that she helped, and just being, brilliant and kind and engaging. It's just, truly a loss for all of us. I don't know, Dean and Susan, if you, want to share any thoughts about working with Rebecca or getting to know her.
I sadly, really, we never crossed paths, and maybe it's, me eventually moving overseas. I, certainly know who she is and wish I had now even more so. But it's horrible. I get very brokenhearted about Don Daglow's running list of people who passed away in the industry, which is an amazing thing that he keeps up that I would not have the, ability to do.
Yeah, it's an emotionally tough time in the game industry already, and then when you lose people, it just gets even more real and difficult. And she was very public, I guess, about all of her struggles too, especially losing her longtime partner Janelle last year, and then she talked about all that grief on social media as well, and then when she also had this latest bout of cancer, she was posting about that too.
Yeah.
They had raised a good amount of money on a GoFundMe page, but yeah, it was too advanced and fast. And so it's very sad. But she had so much outpouring of, I guess condolences from people who knew her. I barely knew her. She spoke once at our conference, I think, in 8 years ago or so, and did a good job sort of capturing what the ageism is like in the games industry, right? And it was a diversity session where she talked about this problem in gaming that nobody ever really talks about. So she was an outspoken person, and also had so many accomplishments, like was a co-founder of Interplay, along with one of the first 4 people at Brian Fargo's company, and stayed there until it was well over 500 people, and then went back to making smaller games and running game studios after that as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, something that, and you getting to know her a bit, something that I didn't realize is that she was at Amazon actually for a period of time, and she helped to found an organization within the company called Glamazon, which focuses on LGBTQ plus communities and inclusion, stuff like that. And she was the first. She's listed on, it's listed on her LinkedIn profile. She was the first trans chair of the organization, and was very proud of that work that she did. So yeah, just, again, a brilliant game designer, just a wonderful person, and she will absolutely be missed. So our thoughts and love and hearts go out to her family and her friends. And yeah, it's important to remember, just how young we are as an industry. The people that founded it are still with us. So that's why I'm very passionate and adamant about making sure we have our history correct, that we celebrate each other as much as we can, understand the importance of this art form. And, when things like this happen, it brings into sharp relief. Just, don't take anything for granted. Tell people around you that you love them, right? Because there are no guarantees anywhere. So anyway, again, rest in peace, Rebecca. And yeah, so. All right. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that we started off there. And yeah, now we're going to go ahead and shift gears a little bit, and let's talk about game industry news. I know, Dean, you've got something poised. You're ready to jump right in. What big game news is rattling around that brain?
Yeah, late last night, Ubisoft posted their earnings for the first half of the year for their fiscal year, and then also said that they were resuming trading after some weeks delay here. And this morning they announced that they have closed their agreement with Tencent to get a 1.16 billion euro investment into the Vantage Studios division that includes Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. So they've put all their major franchises into one division now, and this is like a now debt-free division. It's valuing Vantage Studios at 3.8 billion euros, which is actually a pretty good valuation. And so Ubisoft is going to get a fresh start from this, and we'll see what other details emerge here soon. But starting in January, they're going to start operating this as a separate division inside the company. And yeah, they've been trying to get this done all year, and so it's good for them to secure at least a real financial footing now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do we have any, armchair quarterbacked opinions about?
I mean, there were a couple of things that were, sort of called out in the earnings last night. They generally had good earnings with I think, different measures up, like the net bookings were up 20% from a year ago for the first half. The most recent quarter was up 39%. And so they had sort of unexpectedly strong performance for games like Assassin's Creed Shadows, which had some DLC arrive, and then also for the whole Assassin's Creed franchise. And so things are going well on that front. They had they called out that as they went to free access for Rainbow Six Siege, they had a huge burst in cheating in the game, and had to take drastic actions to address that. They also noted that in the past year, they've gone down by 1,500 employees, a number that they had not mentioned before. And they're now at 17,097 people. And in the past, say 6 months, I think they've gone down about 700 people. And a lot of this is through different kinds of cost-cutting measures, voluntary leave programs, et cetera. So they're trying to cut about $100 million or 100 million euros in costs in this fiscal year. So that's one of the things that is going along with the addition of money into the company.
Yes. So it is interesting so look, I mean, great that they're able to go ahead and cover the cost of their debt and be able to restructure in a partnership with Tencent, gives them further reach and everything else. And good that, again, a storied, important brand, a publisher in the industry, right, is going to continue to move forward. All of those things. Great. What is interesting is the way that they're verticalizing their game types into these different segmentations, right? And the last time we saw that happen was, I think, about 3 years ago with Electronic Arts, right? Where they started to create these swim lanes for their franchises or types of games. So I'm not saying that means anything, but we'll see, where that segmentation lies, and then what kind of investment's going to be put into each of those studios that allow them to build on those genres, those types going forward. I did find really interesting in the body of a variety of articles in there was that the studio format they're going to have now is going to give them a lot more autonomy in those verticals versus centralized, tech and things like that we've seen in other spaces, right? So it'll be, again, it remains to be seen how it plays out, but glad that they were able to go ahead and get that sorted and continue operating, right, as an important global publisher, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. How about you, Susan? What news story is catching your imagination or attention?
Oh, I thought you were asking my opinion on the Ubisoft thing.
No. Well, first, yes, please lean in on the Ubisoft. Don't wait for me to ask. Jump in and say, Melisina, shut up.
I don't know. I think I'm feeling feisty about publishers at the moment and thinking that they're kind of irrelevant to most of us anymore. I think that publishers are struggling for developers to find a reason to work with them.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of, I don't know, they're becoming a little bit irrelevant. It's it's like the big budget films of the world. I'm more interested in what's going on in the indie end of the spectrum, and Ubisoft's kind of the same. I don't want them to go away.
Right.
So I'm glad they exist. But it's all a bit boring, and it's all just turned into sequel after sequel after sequel. And
that's why I think
I wish we'd see innovation from the publishers, I guess, is all I'm saying. They're just, rolling out the same things over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's that's a much longer discussion around, but the financial realities of working with.
I was feeling feisty
with public money, but that's also why I do love the like Midwest Games, right, emerging as a shadow publisher. And as I said at MDev, I'm like, the next big publisher is not going to come from a AAA studio. It's going to come out of that mid space again, right, where they can take more risks, and they do look at the publishing space a little bit differently because they're not necessarily beholden to shareholders and things like that, right? So, a lot of changes that are happening in our space, but Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Matt Anderson here in chat says, Chris, you're right. Susan's coming in with the hot takes. Love it.
I think it's part of we talked about this before the show, a bigger trend that's happening right now in self-funded projects and project financing. I was mentioning to Dean and Chris that at Slush there were a surprising number of the gaming VCs present, and a number of them are having some version of project financing as opposed to traditional VC equity financing.
Yeah.
And there are a number of studios toying with project financing models. And I mean, I think this is wrapped up in the fact that the M&A isn't out there. People aren't exiting. So LPs aren't happy. So they have to find other ways of, right. I think it's actually a really interesting model for indies. And it's really interesting that the shadow publishing is happening, because publishing is still an art. But if you can find ways to collaborate, that's really cool.
Yep.
And a way forward.
Yes. All right. Another hot take there on all of it. What other news, Susan, is bouncing around?
Have we talked about? I missed last week. Have we talked about the Epic Unity thing?
We have not. We have not spoken.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I'm still trying to understand the nuance of it, but it sounds to me, if I'm understanding it correctly, it's like you'll be able to go into Fortnite the same way you look for Unreal games to find Unity games. So it's almost like a graphical storefront, which sounds like another path towards competing with Steam. But what does that mean, like from a technology standpoint? I wish Mark was here, but you're here, Chris. Like, does that mean that they're going to have to put a layer on top of those games so they run in Fortnite, or is it going to be like a thin client sort of thing where you're playing the games in a?
Well, while I formulate that opinion, Dean, why don't you share with what you know?
I just looked at some details in the story that we ran here. Alex Lee wrote it for us, our new writer, and they're gonna I guess have a cross-platform commerce platform starting in 2026, early 2026. So. They're basically supporting each other's engines, and so Unity games are going to be able to run in Fortnite. And I don't know how they're making this happen.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, it was interesting to see though that Tim Sweeney, CEO of Epic Games, showed up at Unity's Unite event in Barcelona and went on stage with Matt Bromberg, the CEO of Unity, as they announced this together. So, that's as rare as the U.S. and the Soviets getting together.
It's awesome, though, right? Isn't that a great thing? I'm really excited. There's a lot of things that Epic has done lately that I'm a big fan of, and I think it's really cool that they're putting their stuff aside and trying to find a way forward, because everybody should be doing that. The industry is suffering. Everyone needs to find ways to extend olive branches and stuff and do stuff together.
They kind of signaled this improved relationship like more than I guess a week ago when Matt Bromberg said announced that Unity was going to support direct to consumer web shops all it could, thanks to the legal victory that or partial legal victory that Epic got in the antitrust lawsuit against Apple and Google. And Tim Sweeney and Matt Bromberg at that time, they traded tweets with each other and sort of foreshadowed that they were on friendlier terms than you might expect. So very different from the days when Unity had other leadership. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to remember Tim has always taken this approach, right? So, when we talk about the platforms they have and then diversifying, I think, economic models for the company, right? Building another storefront, so there's more opportunity there, building a mobile storefront, more opportunity there. I just, remember that, Tim and the team over at Epic, they were focusing on development around HTML5 game development, right? And then after they got it to a certain point, they kind of released it into the open source community. They were initial and very large supporter of the Open 3D project at the Linux Foundation. And part of the discussion around that was, hey, if we're really going to move towards this metaverse type of framework, and strip the metaverse name out of it, the ability to move assets between different environments that you may own or are personalized for you means that you can't do it all by yourself. No company could, right? Because it's like saying one company built the web. Like you can't. So they've always been open to working with those companies, and this is just a further maturation of their business. So I think it's positive for the whole industry. Can't wait to see what comes out of this, right? So yeah.
I think you're right, and I think Epic's in the wonderful position of being, a cash-rich company that doesn't have to only count on the engine to make them money. Which is clear. And yeah, they always seem to love to collaborate, and they can win without everyone using the Unreal Engine. And so, whereas Unity, on the other hand, has never really been a content publisher. They were started as a tool company. So
although Unity did announce that they actually made their very first game, a Unity-made game. It was more in advance of the announcement they had with 2K Studios to bring the PGA Tour game onto the Switch 2 using Unity. So it was like a rare acknowledgement that
that's cool.
Maybe they need to make some games in order to still be the best game engine.
I couldn't agree more. I think we talked about that during the runtime fee thing, that they should be diversifying into things like funding games the way as well, like as publisher. It would be great, and it would make for a better engine where they're dog fooding their own tech.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up, Dean, what you got?
Let's see. Well, we did finish our GamesBeat Next conference last week, and it was a nice success for us. It's our first fully planned conference under our new independent status since we spun out from VentureBeat 6 months ago, and it turned out very good. We had a record for GamesBeat Next in terms of turnout. It was about almost 600 people came, nice. And for us, that's a nice big B2B crowd. We had 117 speakers, including the CEO of Unity. Gallup came and released a poll about gamers for the conference. I had quite a few fireside chats that I did with different people, and Alex Lee also had almost as many as I did, our new writer. Rachel Kaiser was there. She moderated the Women in Gaming Breakfast and a couple other sessions for us too. And then we launched this Big Show podcast that has CEOs as guests. So, lots of fun.
Launched that podcast, did you? No, I'm just kidding. It's Dean. Look, it keeps going back to how everyone values, the industry, GamesBeat's voice, and that really comes, from the very long time that you've been, a consistent voice of checking the industry against quality, illuminating things, right, and helping to lead that team. Gina coming in and you all being able to pivot that stuff out. And build and rebrand and everything else. It's been really, really impressive. And I know the kind of work that it takes to actually do all of that stuff. So you and the whole team should be really commended. And the continued support of the GamesBeat events just really reflects, how much GamesBeat's voice is valued by everybody, right? So congratulations to you and the whole team over there. It's really awesome. Really, really awesome, buddy.
yeah, we very much appreciate the support of the industry, including AWS, which was there, and all the other sponsors that helped us get it done, like Exola. So, yeah,
It's awesome. I was sad to miss it.
Now we get to move on to another conference that I need to get more speakers for.
When's that?
Our December 11th event is a Hollywood and Games event in downtown Los Angeles on the day of the Game Awards. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's sending that out across the nation because, like Mob Bell, he's got the ill communication. So that's, yes, little Beastie Boys reference.
I want to suggest, Dean, do something in Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it makes sense to try to be a global entity here. And
I'm here. Anything I can do to help, Dean?
Yeah, anything to help us take over the world.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, let's figure that out. So,
what kind of video gamer would I be if I didn't try to take over the world, right?
Exactly right. You'd be a fake gamer. Sup, man? All right. Let's see. What's the next? Let's see.
Like I said, it was a busy news week for sure. Battlefield 6 numbers came out from Circana, and it was hands on the top game, hands down the top game of October, and I think it was the best performance of a Battlefield in recent years as well. And I think, it's probably going to beat out Call of Duty based on all the buzz that we hear, I think. I don't know. I guess the numbers they capture in Circana seem low because they capture a slice of the market. But I think all of that work that they did, remaking Battlefield over 4 years compared to the last game, which was not successful, I think is paying off here.
Yeah.
So kudos for them.
Yeah. No, it's and then again with some of the other commentary that we've seen around AI use in some AAA games too. That's kind of adding a little spice to the discussions as of late from these larger games. Yeah, but COD kind of feeling some of that pressure in Battlefield 6, like you said, doing a massive refresh that really landed well with core audiences and critics, and it's. Oh, if anything, right? Stuff is always changing, can be unpredictable sometimes, but yeah, no, really good for them. Really good for them.
Yeah. Just on I think the use of AI in games, I think, it is good for the companies to disclose where and when they're using AI. But I do, not see that as a universally sort of a bad thing. I think that AI assisting people to get their work done, is no more harmful than using ChatGPT to get an answer for something that you need real fast, right? So improving productivity, I think, it does start to cross different moral lines when you're laying off large numbers of people, reporting record profits, because you're using AI to replace people. It's hard to say that, exactly where we are in that evolution. I think it is affecting a lot of programming jobs out there, tech jobs, narrative jobs as well in the game industry, but it's not necessarily so useful yet that that is a sort of obvious outcome of AI. I think a production tool, production assistant, I think people may need to adapt to the idea that this is actually beneficial for studios of all kinds, right? So so that's something where I think in reviewing products, some some folks are saying like, hey, I'm not going to play this game because AI has been used to make it. And I think that is a bit too simplistic an approach to deciding whether you want to support a particular game company or not.
Well, as a game developer who is actually working in that space, Susan?
Yeah, I think that what you said, it gets to the heart of it, that I think almost every developer, other than those maybe with a strong moral objection, is using AI in some way.
Yeah.
Even if it's for simple tasks and, using Claude or using Gemini for the mundane things.
Right.
And so I almost think that we're hurting ourselves in an industry saying you have to call it out because everybody's doing it. There was a recent study I think you published that 90% of developers have said that they're using it in some way. And so I'm almost thinking like, what's the point now of Steam?
Yeah, and there are definitely
granularity,
Yeah, there's definitely other regions of the world where this is not an issue, right? And that they're just charging right ahead. So
and let the product stand for what it is. Look, if they're using it to create stuff without artist involvement, it's going to be pretty damn clear, and it's going to probably suck.
Right.
And so it should get bad reviews on the back of sucking. It shouldn't get bad reviews on the back of the fact that they use. That's just one problem, is the fact that they use AI. The fact that they have no taste is probably the bigger problem, right? There was a friend of mine who used to work for Steam. Ichiro is super involved in this world. He had ChatGPT go back and look at every game that disclosed AI use on Steam. This is some months ago, so it was only like 3,000 games at the time. But then he had ChatGPT look at their first 3 pages of reviews to see if any of them called out AI. Guess how many? One. Out of 3,000. Out of 3,000 games, only one of them called out the AI use, and the reason was because it was bad. The art was bad. So of course they're going to get called out for that. So I think we're making it this problem it isn't. And then I would add that I'm surprised that very few developers are really trying to figure out the phase 2 of what this allows. That's what gets me out of bed, is not the productivity stuff. It's like, what new things can we do that we couldn't do before? And I think we need more of that. I don't want to just be doing that alone. I think we need to figure out what are the really, really cool use cases, because then gamers are going to get excited, right?
Yeah, exactly. Look, I mean, I think you all said it. We're seeing some of this in the comments. They're tools, right? So you use them to their best effect. I think I won't speak for the whole industry, right? But I'd say that in the temperature of discussion, right, amongst colleagues it's when the overstatement of what the tech can do just comes roaring in, delivered by people that have never built a game before, right? Or don't, understand how they're built, and go, no, all of this stuff is just going to replace everybody's brain, and then you don't have to worry about it. And we just know that's not true. And we even said it at RovioCon. Wink, wink. We've been using AI machine learning for 50 years, right? Like, anyone ever use speed tree in their development? Guess what? Like, right? So yeah, it's you hope that best games, best ideas, those are the things that are going to win out, right? And so it remains to be seen. It's still early days, but yeah, and I've seen some wonderfully awesome, promising games that use AI as part of their core tech stack. So. Yeah, let's. In fact, we were just playing the new Snoop Dogg game that streams down on Luna, where you basically talk into your phone, and the 2 people in the room that are playing are building a case, and then Snoop basically, as the judge, tries to determine who wins the lawsuit, and it's hysterical. Right? It's pretty fantastic. So, complete artists in the loop, yeah, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Yeah, like Rick Velez says in chat, people who rely on AI to do all the work aren't going to do well in the long run, right? So remains to be seen. Okay, well, speaking of the long run, Dean, there was this article here that you posted, the decades-long view of gaming cycles. Susan and I weren't able to. Well, you weren't at GamesBeat Next, were you, Susan?
No, I couldn't.
I was going to say that's
Sadly.
a lot there. Dean, can you give us the Cliff Notes version of
Yeah,
this discussion?
yeah, we felt like I guess veterans of the game industry have been through so many cycles, and they understand that these ups and downs happen, and it does pay to look through back in your history to see what you can predict will happen. Like when you're in the middle of a cycle, what's going to happen by the end of that cycle, right? And so I brought up the example of NVIDIA fighting it out in the 1990s with other 3D graphics card makers, and there were 80 of them at the time, and over the long run, only 3 survived, and NVIDIA became one of the most valuable companies in the world. And that was not a foregone conclusion by any means. And when you're early in the phase of such a thing, like say with the formation of all the blockchain game companies, right, in recent years, or all the metaverse companies, everybody said, "Oh, this is overhyped. This is crazy. Too much money is going into all this thing. There's no way these companies can survive." And then they may conclude that, okay, I'm not going to participate in this at all, right? But the outcome of this is usually determined in the final competition there between maybe the top 1% of the players. And it's not a waste of the industry to start out with 100 companies in a space and then have it go down to 3, because that's it's sort of the outcome of competition and sort of Darwinian evolution of the companies. And so if somebody is going to come out and serve the market the best, and they establish themselves as the winner, then you get something like Riot Games coming out of that as the winner of the MOBA battles, right, with League of Legends. And so I guess the lesson is, sort of don't dismiss an overhyped sector as something that is just a bunch of scams, and it's never going to produce anything useful for the game industry.
Right.
In fact, the survivors are the ones really that determine what happens with that. And then there are strategies that different companies can pursue too, like counter-cyclical, strategies. Like Nintendo is the most counter-cyclical of the game console makers, where Microsoft and Sony, pour as much as they can into their consoles, and the prices for those consoles has been going up, and it's been staying high as well.
Right.
And whereas Nintendo's strategy was always to find a different way to appeal to folks with a more mass market solution that wasn't the highest end technology. It was just sort of the more clever technology, I think, right? And so having a counter-cyclical strategy often can pay off when everybody's zigging and you're zagging, right? So
yeah.
Anyway, it was like a lesson from old timers to newcomers, I think,
right.
Really, for what that panel was about.
Yeah.
And Rob Dyer did a great job. He had some doubts, say that Xbox is going to stay in the hardware business, and he felt like the announcement of the Steam machine that Valve is going to do for the living room in 2026 is going to be a wake-up call for everybody that there could be a new era starting with another significant console maker in the living room.
So on that point,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, you've now got 3 principal modalities of gameplay, right? Console, tethered, portable, and VR, all dropping into the same storefront, all with cross-platform play, all with the same cloud save system there, and no fees to do it. Okay, right, remains to be seen. And people are like, well, I already have, a high-end PC. Do I need this little cube? Yeah, but it's not, yes, it's a PC, sure. But I don't know. I'm pretty optimistic about it. I think that they've put in the time. The Proton community has put in the time as well to go ahead and ensure that we have an excellent translation layer for Windows games running on Linux. So it remains to be seen. I'm very intrigued, and I do love the modularity or customizability of the Gabe Cube, as everyone's referring it to. Of course, I would also be remiss, Susan, if I didn't mention that, Jensen, right, building NVIDIA. Of course, you do realize that all happened because him and two principal engineers at Sun Microsystems got together and started the company. So once again, Sun Microsystems, absolutely important in the annals of our history. Anyway.
When is that thing coming? When is the Gabe box coming?
Early 2026 is all they said.
Yeah, the Gabe Cube.
The Gabe Cube.
Gabe Cube. Instead of game.
And brand new VR headset as well.
Yeah, that VR headset looks amazing.
I'm more skeptical about that part. I'm kind of a naysayer these days on VR and AR. But,
Beat Saber. Cool. Beat Saber. That's it. Yeah, Cyvic here in the chat was like, I don't need a Gabe Cube. I sure as hell want one. That's
by the way, like NVIDIA rescued perhaps the entire economy this week as well by reporting stellar earnings, with their bookings up like 60%, 62% over a year ago. And they have visibility into $500 billion in AI chip revenue through 2026. And that's how big AI has gotten. Their value is like $4.5 trillion in the marketplace now. So everybody was all jittery going into this and saying, oh, there must be an AI bubble that's going to pop. Well, it's the same kind of thing as like dismissing a bunch of new startups as a bunch of scams and saying like, oh, this is a bubble that's going to burst. I'm going to sit on the sidelines. Well, if you sat on the sidelines with NVIDIA and the AI boom here, you would have missed out on a huge amount of market value creation, and so it's not always smart to sit things out.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, when there's smoke, there may be fire, right? So you have to run to it, but it's just to also try to be as realistic and pragmatic about it as you can, while still being, forward thinking. It's a difficult thing to do, right? And companies flame it all the time, Far be it from me to tell anybody, dude, I don't have skin in that game. So, right. But best of luck to everybody participating. There's a couple of comments that were in here too. Bill Young, friend of ours, Bill, what's up, buddy? Said, by the way, when they were talking about the AI, because, we're delayed here, right, on the streets. They were talking about AI disclosure on Steam. 7,818 titles on Steam that disclosed GAI usage. That's 7% of the total Steam library of 114,000 games. But it's 20% of the total games that launched in 2025. Right? So, so small amount in the total.
Thanks, Bill, for the updated stats. Yeah, that's
kind
of the sort of stuff I was expecting.
Yeah. And then Richard Brown says here, the Gabe Cube is a luxury item, duplicates what you already have, unless you're principally, a Mac platform at home and but had some Steam, or you have a Steam Deck, and now you wanted to go in and jump in and have a tiny little box that sits in your living room to do it. That's
that is true. I know a lot of Mac users who have Steam Decks. They seem to be like one of the biggest markets for Steam Deck are the Mac users.
Yeah. One last one for you too. Rick Velez said, I think Steam wants to be competitive with console manufacturers, should be priced close to them rather than low-end gaming PCs. We don't know what the price is going to be coming forward, but there was this discussion about resolution and performance and everything. But if you look at Steam and look at the, the surveys that they do on the monthly, the overwhelming resolution, 1080p. The overwhelming frame rate is 60 hertz. The overwhelming amount of memory per GPU is 8 gigs. So they are going after the broadest segment, right, of the market. People that want 120 hertz, 4K, ultra wide, they're going to go buy a 50 series thing, and they're going to skip that box, right? For the vast majority of the types of games that are on the platform there, this box is going to be perfectly fine to run those. So anyway, all right, let's go ahead and
for
move.
me, I like playing my PC games at my desk. I use my console when I want to play a console game.
Microsoft has already crossed this line of having $1,000 console handheld now. So they have pushed towards having higher prices. I'd like to see how they're doing against the Switch 2, which is $500, right? But $1,000 machines are not so crazy anymore, and I think if people get used to that idea, then the Steam device could be
the most puzzling thing for me, Dean, was it's an Xbox handheld, but it doesn't play Xbox games, right? So it's only the Windows versions of the Xbox games, or you're cloud streaming them. That's a tough one. I mean, I understand it, right? You're extending the brand out to another platform, so you want it to carry there, and eventually you'll see all of that parity. But a PS5 with a portal, $700 for the both of them. You're still left with $300 to go buy games, right, for the PS5, and then still stream them wherever you want on the portal. So it's a weird time, man. It is just a weird ass time in our industry. All right, Susan. What other news stories do you have for us?
It was just shared with me that on the AI front, since it seems to be the AI boss rush, Ubisoft has shared a first playable of a Gen I experience. Have you guys seen this? An R&D experiment called Teammates.
What is it called now? What is this?
It's called Teammates.
Okay.
I'll share it in the comments there because I'm
please
do it. Yeah. Did that work?
Did you pop it into the general comments on the stream or intro?
Tried to. Useless today. I'm tired. I'm jet lagged. Yes, I'm putting in our channel right there so you can open it.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
I mean, it's an NPC thing, about like realistic NPCs and how they respond.
Yeah, they had something earlier that they had shared about NPCs too, right? So I think they're making more and more.
My only look. It's going to sound terrible. Now I don't know if I should say it. It is a little bit too hot take-ish, but I'm not a big fan of lots and lots and lots of NPC dialogue in games, and so it. Maybe it's my short attention span, but it does kind of annoy me that so much of the focus is on making NPC dialogue trees better. Like,
it sort of means that you're never going to finish the game because you're going to get off of the main quest.
Yes,
you're just going to sit around and talk to NPCs.
How about a TLDR agent who will follow you around in the game and just give you like the one sentence summary of all the dialogue you just skipped in Diablo or something like that? Wouldn't that be great?
I'm right there with you. And when I used to play online with friends, I don't play as much online anymore. It's just too much time. Like I don't have enough time to be that proficient anymore. But I had this one friend that we used to play together, and he was the completionist. So anytime we were getting, out of a level or something, he's like, did we go down that one court? Did we check that box? Did we talk to these two NPCs? I'm like, no, and I don't care. Like, we just killed everything we needed to. Get the hell out of the level. Let's go. He's like, no, but maybe they have something to say. I'm like, no, my ADD kicks into overdrive then.
Lee and I, play loads of the latest Diablo together. We tend to play co-op games together, and I was the worst offender of this because we get to the end, the boss would say something, kill, and I'm on to the next thing. He's like, "What are you doing? Aren't you listening?" No, I'm back in town selling my gear. Tell me what they said.
Yes. This one here, Cybic over on YouTube had said, going back to the GameCube, and I just say that I enjoyed the fact that the internet just agreed and spoke with one voice that the public name for the Steam machine shall be called the GameCube. Bloody hilarious. So, yeah. Well, speaking of new hardware, we've got another one from GamesBeat. Analog 3D revised the Nintendo 64 in glorious 4K resolution. Yes.
That's cool.
Yes, yes.
That's super
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah,
David
really
Tegno
cool.
did that story for us. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. It's an FPGA. It's still, the firmware is still a little sparse, right? But they'll continue to fix that over time. Yeah, they're just, they are again continuing to preserve hardware and that kind of stuff. But just another piece of kit that I'm like, oh my goodness. Let's see. What was it? The folks at Analog spent nearly 4 years working on Analog 3D to make sure it perfectly captures the essence of the N64. This really, we should be discussing this when Delora is here.
Yeah.
Until now, there was no hardware solution for playing original cartridges. Notoriously one of the most difficult systems to accurately emulate for. So using an FPGA to get that accuracy down is pretty fantastic. And since Mark's not here, I'll share a quick story with you. The last E3, we were there and we were walking through kind of an indie game space, and there was a little wave race type of game, but with bears. And we walked on, like, oh, you know, the wave physics really good, you know, the frame rate's really good and everything. And then the two team leads were like, oh, that was our favorite game, you know, growing up. It's stayed with us all these years. We wanted to make. And I look over at Mark and he's just like, I'm like, well, this is the guy that worked on it, like here in the US. And they were like, oh, so I told Mark, I said, I'll come pick you up in about an hour, buddy. Because they're just going to basically crack your brain open and ask you all these questions, which they did. And it was just so awesome to see, right? So there's a lot of love for the N64. But yeah, really cool to see it. And I think they just started shipping now. So if you pre-ordered one, it should be coming up. Or you should be getting that pretty soon. So pretty
I'm
awesome.
I just need to send an apology out to Darren Gladstone for my horrible comments about me admitting to skipping dialogue.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it's exactly, yeah. Friend of ours, Darren Gladstone here.
I will never do it again for you, Darren.
Let's see, boo on dialogue skippers. Don't have that much time, buddy. He said, I'm dying on the inside right now, Susan. Oh, very good. All right.
The worst of it, I was an English major. I have no excuse for this. I was a writer in college.
No, you do. It's that you read too well. See, but Dean's like, folks, I am the writer here, so I do nothing but dialogue. Oh my goodness. Here's a story I thought was really interesting and thoughtful coming out of the community. So Megabonk withdrew from the Game Awards, right? Because they said, look, it's an honor, but I don't think qualifies for a debut indie game because it's not their first indie game that they've done. So,
respect for that.
And I guess under the Megabonk identity, everybody thought this was a first game, right? I guess, but the developer in this case had more than one identity and had made other games before under a separate identity.
Yeah.
So then, you know, it was kind of like a not so surprising mistake for people to make that they thought this was the first game, right?
Yeah. But props to him for saying, hey, it's not my first, so let this go to somebody who truly is, right? I think that's really fantastic. And it was signed by, the comment was, I really appreciate the nomination, support, and votes, but it doesn't feel right in this category. You should vote for another one of the amazing debut titles. They're all amazing games. It was signed John Megabonk. I love that. So anyway, I know we're coming up to the end of the hour here too. Susan, can we talk real quickly about how SLUSH was and like how was it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of VCs there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of VCs there. Surprisingly, there were game VCs there. I think a lot of them are raising money as well. So I think that's part of it. It's not a very game focused event, and some of the folks that were traveling, I think, were surprised. They thought it would be more game industry, but it's if you haven't been, it's very broadly tech, and anything from AI to pharmaceuticals to anything you could think of, and a lot of VCs raising money. But it's bizarre. Did you go in, Chris? I know you were there for RovioCon.
No, I had to leave.
I should share pictures. It's like being at a rave or like a high-end nightclub. It's absolutely massive. The stages are massive. There's so much buzz there. and it's very well organized. Like you can tell they've been doing this a long time. They have these meeting tables to set up meetings with other people on the platform, and they're 30-minute meetings. There must be like 500 tables, and so it's speed dating. And there's a big sign in the middle with a 30-minute countdown, and it's all really funny. It's like you got 30 minutes. Now it's 25 minutes. Stop talking about the weather. Get to work. And then at the end, it's like 2 minutes left. Close the deal. And it's just really like funny at that. And you know, and they fed us, and it was a very well organized event. It got really crowded, and it was loads of neon and just weird for someone who's used to game industry events. But RovioCon alongside it, where Mr. Melissa knows, brought down the house with his keynote at the end about how the industry is going to recover. And there's amazing videos, like the one with Don Daglow. That was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
RovioCon was really cool. I mean, that was a massive auditorium full of game industry folks. So that was cool to see. So there is stuff for game industry there, but it's not very much a game industry event.
Yeah. No, it was yes, I know it's not, and there was a lot of overlap, right, between game industry and stuff that's going on. RovioCon, I should mention too, it was really phenomenal. Just really incredible speakers there talking about the state of the industry, what's worked for them in the past, how they build companies going forward, thinking about disruptors in the market and places to be aware of. And, you know, our hosts, Rovio, couldn't have been kinder, and Supercell as well. They were it's just so lovely to spend time with everybody. Everyone was just so eager to lean in and talk about their passion for games. And, you know, what's so wonderful to discover is when you sit down with these studios and you're talking to them. I mean, the people in there really care about the games they make. They care about the players, right? They care about providing that really good value exchange. And so it was just an absolutely wonderful, wonderful trip, and made some new friends there, and looking forward to returning, right? And spending more time. But
I agree. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It
was my first time in Helsinki too, so I was enjoying exploring a new city. What little time I had to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was my first time as well, but most of the time was spent walking to the to the venue and going into meetings, right?
Most of my time was spent in Ubers. Traffic was crazy, and they do not have enough Ubers. And
no, they don't.
Easily wait a half hour to get a car, and yeah, that was a bit crazy.
See, but
I remember, I went like many years ago now, before the pandemic, I guess. But I went a few times, and I feel like the most similar conference to this is like the Web Summit.
Oh, that's probably true. I haven't seen the pictures I've seen. Yeah.
It's like, I think the Web Summit has like 14 stages or so in the same area, right? And that's how I remember SLUSH.
And they have, hang on a second, I gotta show this. This is what a badge looks like. It's literally the size of my head. And people were like, why are these so big? But how perfect is this? You can see at a distance of someone's startup, investor, whatever it is, the name, their company.
Love that.
Across the room, even those of us with terrible eyes, can tell if that's someone you should be talking to. So I was actually really impressed.
I was able to find this one picture there, Part of my talk, and Dean, the whole stage was set up like an Angry Birds level. So they had, birds everywhere and everything. It was really, really well done. It was held in this venue. It's the largest, movie theater in Helsinki. Like holds like 600 people. It was it was just really, really amazing. So that was wonderful. Look, I know we're right up at the end of the hour here, and so as is our wont, we get to talk about games that we're playing. So, why don't we go ahead and jump in and start talking about that? What you all playing?
My time is split between Battlefield 6 and Call of Duty, but also Arc Raiders. And Arc Raiders is just a delightful game, and you can like look on a Twitter feed and you'll see all of the sharing people are doing of wonderful moments inside Arc Raiders, and it's just surprising for all kinds of emergent game strategy and behavior when you're fighting against the far superior AI robots, I guess.
Very cool. Nice. How about you, Susan?
Other than having to spend a lot of time play testing my own game, I am having to humbly and shamefully admit, we reinstalled World of Warcraft because we were kind of missing some co-op hack and slashing, and they've got a new expansion coming out, and so we were kind of curious about it. So we've reinstalled and made a couple of characters, and it's been ages since Lee and I had time to play an MMO together, and we don't have time, but we're like in our evenings we're gonna.
You gotta make some
romp
time.
around and WoW again.
Yeah, and that's not shameful. Great games are great games, no matter when you play them, right?
I had a chance to sit next to John Haidt from Wizards of the Coast, president. But yeah, he was a longtime World of Warcraft guy, and he was telling me about like that whole experience they had with that documentary on Netflix of the Secret Life of Evelyn. And so that was fascinating to hear.
Yeah, no, cool. Absolutely. And for my part, I started getting into Dispatch. I have no idea how. This game, the art style, everything is so unbelievable. I mean,
I know it.
I don't even know. I'm like stammering here because it's hard to really describe just how amazingly awesome it feels to play this game. Right? It is adult, by nature. It doesn't sugarcoat stuff. The art style is incredible. The voice acting, incredible. Like just amazing. So if you haven't checked it out, I'm sure you've seen posts all over the place about it. Definitely go check out Dispatch. It is.
I've obviously been living under a rock, so I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, extraordinary. Somebody in here was it's our good buddy Jason Shackler. So he was saying, Susan, when is friends and family for your game? And what I'd like to pitch for is when it comes time to do your first kind of reveal here. Let's do it here on Boss First, so we can be with friends and.
We're going to be talking a lot more soon. Like we're actually ready to start doing some testing. So if people want to reach out to me, I'd love.
We got to schedule our interview here.
We're going to do that too. Yeah. It's all. I'm terrified. My marketing is starting to talk about dates and hard dates and things like that. Which I watched the blood drain out of Lee's face as we talk about.
He's like, that means I got to stop doing 3D printing. I have to work. Gotta get shit done.
But hang on, this is what I was telling you about, Chris. Did I send you the STL file? He's like,
yes, you did. I will be printing my own on this side.
He's got this crazy. You can't see. It's like this weird glittery thing that he's been using.
I love it. I love it. So I will definitely.
Did a massive dragon with it. I got this. This thing is like this big that we did for his sister for Christmas because she's been our D&D. DM, and so he made her this massive dragon.
We'll have to talk about that on the next one, and we need to also talk about since you brought up Dungeons and Dragons, Dean. Is it pronounced Demio, the VR dungeon crawler game? Yeah.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah. And they just did the crossover with Dungeons and Dragons, so now there's a Dungeons and Dragons set of campaigns for it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I heard really good things about that game.
I know Darren Gladstone listening right now is definitely going to be all in on that. So we need to find some time over the break, buddy, to go play some of that. But that's it. So I'm trying to figure out next week if we're going to do this. It's Thanksgiving here in the States next week, so a lot of people will be out celebrating for it. I'm going to see if we have time to put it together. If everybody is occupied doing family things, I may just go and bounce into my home office and just do kind of a news pickup and live stream from there. But I'll have more information at the beginning of the week. But
so next weekend.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say next weekend is my 27th wedding anniversary.
Woo! Yay!
So I'm not in Thanksgiving land over here in Europe, but we're going out Friday night to celebrate the anniversary. So
well, you could just bring Lee on and celebrate it right here on Boston.
That's true. I keep telling him he has to come on. He's shy, Sorry, Dean. What were you saying?
I may have to go out Black Friday shopping to get a monitor. I need a new gaming monitor, so I'm not sure I can. I gotta get out early and get those deals.
I used to love doing that, and people that didn't really do it. I mean, I remember being out at like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, standing online to get a hard drive deal at Staples and things like that, and everybody just out there for the same thing. And you're just like, it just was awesome, to meet people, and people would bring food and share drinks and stuff. It was a lot of fun. We just, missed some of that. But anyway, all right. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up here for this week's Boss Rush. I want to thank, again, of course, my co-host Dean Takahashi and Susan Cummings. Mark, best to you and happy Thanksgiving to you, buddy. And I hope if you celebrate Thanksgiving, even if you don't, I hope you have an amazing weekend and an awesome next week and a great holiday and some time with your family. Remember, take a breath, breathe, remember the people around you, let them know that you love them, right? And we get to work in service of the greatest art form in the world, right? In video games. So I take that with me in my heart everywhere I go. But that's going to wrap it up for this week. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks to everybody that came to our event. We're very thankful for that.
That's right. Exactly right. All right, everybody. And we're going to get out of here. You all have a great rest of your day and an awesome weekend. We'll see you next time.
Everyone.
Bye.